Welcome everyone. Today we're building the ultimate study guide for anyone tackling air cargo logistics. We're going to break down all the critical handling protocols for specialized air cargo to help you absolutely master the material for your exam. So let's get right into it.
So let's start with a bit of a riddle. What do a racehorse, a shipment of gold, and fresh seafood actually have in common? Well, they are all considered special cargo. And that means they can't just be tossed onto any plane. Each one needs a very specific, incredibly strict set of rules to fly safely and securely. We've laid this out in 6 key parts to make it all really easy to follow and remember. We'll start with the big physical challenges, move into sensitive cargo, then talk about inherent risks and security threats, and finally, we'll tie it all together with the one thing they all share: precision planning.
Okay, let's dive into our first category: physical challenges. This is all about dealing with cargo that pushes the absolute physical limits of an aircraft, either because it's just massive or because it's incredibly heavy.
So our first official classification is heavy and outsized cargo. And the codes you've got to remember here are HEA for heavy and BIG for outsized. That's pretty logical, right? HEA is anything over the standard weight limit, and BIG is anything that's just too large to fit on a normal pallet or in a standard compartment.
You know, you can't just show up at the airport with an airplane engine and expect them to load it on the next flight. Handling HEA, or big cargo, is like a carefully choreographed dance. It requires getting approval beforehand, reserving the space way in advance, bringing in special ground equipment, and designing custom loading plans. This stuff is all planned out weeks, sometimes even months, ahead of time.
Okay, and this is the crucial point. If you're taking notes for an exam, star this one. The handling code, BIG, must be printed on the airway bill, the AWB. That single 3-letter code is the trigger. It tells everyone down the line, from the warehouse crew to the pilots, that this is not a regular shipment and that all those special procedures have to be kicked into gear.
Now, to manage all this cargo, whether it's big or small, the entire industry relies on something called unit load devices, or ULDs. Think of them as the building blocks of air freight. They're basically standardized containers and pallets that are engineered to fit perfectly inside the curved body of an airplane, which lets them pack in as much as possible while keeping everything safe and easy to handle.
And this slide gives you a perfect look at how that works. A classic example is the LD3 container, which also goes by the code AK. See how one side is slanted? That's not a mistake. It's designed to perfectly match the curve of the aircraft's lower deck. It has super specific weight and dimension limits, making sure it fits just right.
Okay, let's move on. We're shifting gears now from the purely physical challenges to the ethical and biological responsibilities of handling what's called sensitive cargo. These are shipments that need special care, and in some cases, a real sense of dignity and respect.
The first category here is human remains, coded HUM. This is, of course, one of the most sensitive types of cargo there is. Its handling is controlled by layers of regulations, and one absolutely critical piece is that any HUM shipment must have an official death certificate and follow all the laws of the countries it's leaving, passing through, and arriving in.
And this slide shows the really specific packaging rules, and this is a key distinction to know. For uncremated remains, you have to have a 2-layer system: a sealed inner coffin inside a strong wooden outer one. For cremated remains, it's a secure funeral urn with padding. And notice this last point. For both, the shipment has to be covered up so you can't tell what it is.
Next up, we've got live animals with the code AVI. Here, the #1 priority above all else is animal welfare. The whole process is dictated by the IATA Live Animals Regulations, which is basically a giant rulebook that covers everything you can imagine. It's all designed to minimize stress and keep the animal healthy and safe.
And this right here really shows you the incredible level of detail we're talking about. The animal has to be healthy and have food and water. You can't just pack it in with other cargo. That live animals label is mandatory. You have to book it in advance, and all the health paperwork has to be perfect. If even one of these conditions isn't met, the airline will refuse the shipment. Simple as that.
All right, let's pivot to our third category: inherent risks. Now we're talking about cargo that's dangerous not because of its size or sensitivity, but because of what it's actually made of. Things that can spoil, leak, or even interfere with the plane itself. First, we have perishable cargo, coded PER. This is anything that can decay: fresh food, flowers, and really important things like medical vaccines. For these shipments, you're literally racing against the clock. The whole process is about speed and clear communication. The TER code has to be on the airway bill, and you'll always see labels like perishable and this side up to make sure it's handled right.
Kind of related to that is wet cargo, coded WET. This is for anything containing liquid that could leak, like fresh seafood packed on ice. And the danger here is actually pretty serious. A leak isn't just smelly. It can cause corrosion to the aluminum structure of the aircraft itself, and that's why the packaging has to be completely 100% watertight, no exceptions.
And the last one in this risk group is a hidden threat, magnetized material, or MAG. This is any cargo that creates a magnetic field strong enough that it could mess with the plane's navigation tools, especially the magnetic compass. These shipments need special labels and have to be stored a safe distance away from those critical systems.
Our final category of risk isn't about the physical properties of the cargo at all. It's about human nature. This section covers security threats, how we protect high-value and high-demand goods from getting stolen.
Now, this slide is absolutely key for your exams because it explains the crucial difference between two codes, VAL for valuable and VUN for vulnerable. As you can see, VAL cargo is all about its declared monetary value. We're talking gold, diamonds, things worth more than $1,000 a kilogram. VUN cargo, on the other hand, is defined by how desirable it is, how likely it is to be stolen, like brand new smartphones or expensive watches.
Because of its high worth, the security for VAL cargo is incredibly strict. It starts with booking in advance and using strong, sealed packaging, no flimsy cardboard boxes. Throughout its trip, it's kept in secure vaults. And whenever possible, VAL cargo gets booked on direct flights to cut down on transfers and reduce the chances for theft.
So, we've looked at cargo that's too big, too sensitive, too risky, and too valuable. After breaking down all these different types, what's the one single thread that connects every single one of them?
The common thread is this. In the world of air cargo, there are no small details. The safety of the plane, the crew, and the cargo itself, it all depends entirely on meticulous, advanced planning. It relies on crystal-clear communication through those three-letter codes on the airway bill, and an unwavering, strict adherence to every single rule.
And that leaves us with a final thought. The world of special cargo is always changing. As technology creates new kinds of goods, things like advanced biotech materials or even quantum computers, what do you think will be the special cargo of tomorrow? What new codes and new rules will the next generation of logistics pros need to come up with?